Yes, it's finally here. Welcome in. It's the Daily Puck Drop. It's Thursday, April 10th. Welcome into finally one of the greatest, if not the greatest day in the sports calendar. It's Masters Thursday as we welcome you into the Daily Puck Drop here on this fabulous, which really should be, let's be honest, a holiday. Just like we always say with the Super Bowl, that it should be a holiday the Monday after. Thursday should be a holiday. Yes, I am in a green jacket. Might look a little darker than that because I'm excited. There's not been much work done this morning. That's fine. For you golf idiots out there as well, you probably haven't done anything as well. Hello, Ken. Good to see you, Ken Venturi. Round one is underway. We'll talk a little bit about the Masters today. Coming up on the show, though, on a Thursday, we do talk a little NFL. We've got Mike Garafolo coming up in about 8 minutes or so. Hopefully he responds to my text. Hey, Mike, remember, 10:10, 1:10 your time. We'll talk football with Garafolo. We also have Michael-Shawn Dugar joining us at 10:30 as we continue to have Dugar on leading up to the NFL draft. Jim Nantz, hello, friends. And then Brad Adam of Root Sports joins us at 10:55. And with Brad, since it's his off day, we always like to record with Brad early in the morning. So we had Brad on earlier today. Oh, let's just start it over. Just start the whole thing over. It makes me tear up. Brad, we caught up with Brad earlier. And so we'll play that coming up at 10:55 today as the Masters, again, officially underway. And good luck to all that are in the Puck to Picker Majors pool. If you didn't get in, sorry, it's season-long contest. We still are working out some details. You may be able to get in later for the other tournaments as well and to see if you can make up ground in the tournament. Likely you will not probably be able to, but that was the deadline to get in before the start of the Masters. This is the season-long Puck to Picker Majors pool, which includes the PGA Championship, U.S. Open, and Open Championship. Grand prize, the Gamble Sands. Big thanks to Gamble Sands for that. A stay-and-play package with Gamble Sands, foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club, foursome at Mill Creek Country Club, and then a foursome at one of Seattle's Troon Premier golf courses, plus an hour-long session with the tape tracer. Also, big thanks to Synthetic Turf Northwest. Proudly brings you all of our golf coverage this week and our entire Majors golf coverage throughout the summer. You tired of that lawn? You tired of that muddy lawn in your backyard? You're tired of your dogs dragging in the mud? You're tired of mowing? You're tired of watering? Get a synthetic turf installation from our good friends at Synthetic Turf Northwest. Put in a 3-hole putting green like I did in my backyard. Work on that golf game throughout the winter because you can, because there's no mud out there. It's wonderful. Synthetic Turf Northwest. syntheticturfnorthwest.com. All right. Sorry, Ken, I'm going to have to say goodbye to you. We got to get the show started here. All right, we are broadcasting from the Limbeck Lumber Studios. Big thanks to Limbeck Lumber for being a proud sponsor here of Puck Sports. Contractors, they got free deliveries, everything from whole house packages to homeowner DIY projects, the largest stock moldings in the Northwest. Old school service. They've been doing it since 1930. Give our friends at Limbeck Lumber a call, 206-782-3487. This jacket is tight. It's a tight jacket. We use this jacket in our buddy's golf trip that we do every year, which we'll be doing next week. And it's just, we've gotten bigger and the jackets have gotten smaller. All right. I gave the phone number, limbecklumber.com. They're going to take care of you. Follow everything on all the social media platforms, Puck Sports on Twitter, on Blue Sky, Instagram, Puck_sports on TikTok. And again, you want to sign up to be a Pucks Posse member. You want to find all of our show content, everything up at pucksports.com. I encourage you to sign up to become a Pucks Posse member. You get access to everything that we do for free, and then all of the bonus content we do as well, including our weekly conversation with our baseball insider, Ryan Divish, our NFL Draft Countdown show with Dane Brugler from The Athletic episode. The latest episode is up there right now. And the Sports Pit, which comes out on Mondays with our good friends, our KJR alums, Steve Sandmeyer, and Matt Stretch Johnson. Also, when you're up at pucksports.com, a reminder, we are producing a brand new podcast as well. Yes, we're in the producing business now. Take 5, Graz with Gas, Take 5 podcast is out. Episode 1 debuted this past Monday, produced by Puck Sports. You can find it up at pucksports.com. The YouTube video, also the podcast link, but you can also find them on YouTube. Just search Graz with Gas, Take 5. Also, just search Graz with Gas, Take 5 on all your major podcast platforms. It's not under Puck Sports or not under the Daily Puck Drop. They have their own podcast section and home. Same for YouTube. Just search Graz with Gas, Take 5. But you can find all of their work at pucksports.com there as well. Okay, here we go. What do we got on the show today? Before we talk to Garafolo coming up here in a little bit, if he returns my message. The Mariners game last night, or yesterday afternoon. I was there, went there, and I'll just say this. I'm going to allow myself, a little bit of joy. It was one of the most insanely stupid games I've ever seen. It just was dumb. Like, so much of that game was dumb yesterday. And, they're getting shut out by Brown. They're not playing particularly well. They're not hitting the ball. J.P. Crawford's booting balls all over the place. Meanwhile, the guy that you could have signed, Christian Walker, over at first base, I know he's not hitting, is picking up every ball in the dirt. I mean, every single ball. That was yesterday watching Christian Walker was a masterclass on how to play first base. They get to the 8th inning. You know what happened. You watch the game. Randy Arozarena hits a grand slam. Place goes nuts. They end up winning the game there in the bottom of the 9th inning with a lineup that, if you would have asked me, hey, what do you think the odds are that they're going to win the game with Donovan Solano, Mastrobone, and then J.P. Crawford? And I told my buddy who was sitting next to me, negative 15%. They're not going to win this. And then they did. And the reason I'm smiling about it is, again, they are an extremely flawed baseball team. I acknowledge that. Everybody acknowledges that. I know this is how they're going to win and lose games all year long. And I am not going to fret anymore about all the things that they didn't do in the offseason, which they didn't do. I mean, they are who they are right now. But for that 25 minutes, that was a pretty damn entertaining game. And the fact that they got off the mat, were able to win that game in just an unbelievable, spectacularly stupid fashion. My point is, it was an enjoyable half an hour at the ballpark. I mean, it was an enjoyable whole time at the ballpark. It was nice out. But the first portion of the game was fairly boring because they don't do much. But they got a few hits, strung some stuff together, and Arozarena came up there and just blasted that ball to left field. And they're going to need Arozarena, thanks Tibbs, because it's, I think with, not having Victor Robles around, who's in it, not only just a very good baseball player and a good leadoff hitter and all those things that we all know, it's the heartbeat that Victor Robles brings. It's the attitude that Robles brings inside that clubhouse, but also, on the field. They're going to need, an emotional leader. And Randy Arozarena can fit that bill. Arozarena plays the game that's probably, in a way, that's probably not for everybody. There's probably a lot of old school baseball guys and people that don't like the way that he plays and the showmanship, and even on the grand slam, on the home run trot, probably didn't like the way he celebrated. But you know what? I like the way he celebrated. I'm all into that. So we'll have more on the Mariners throughout the show. Reminder, Mike Garafolo coming up here in just a second. Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic. Brad Adam of Root Sports talking more baseball coming up at around 11 o'clock. Let's get the very latest, though. He joins us every single week. It's brought to you by Hartley and Hartley Insurance, also Zogs on Fox Island. And again, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. They've got honesty, fairness, and integrity. Contact Jamie Hartley. Do not contact him today. He's playing golf, and then when he's playing golf, he's going to go right from the golf course to watch the Masters. But call him anyways. Leave a message, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island, perfect spot to grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, catch the game. Check out Zogs on Facebook and Instagram for their hours and event times. Here he is, America's #1 NFL insider.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, good, because we were just using this computer for something else and they couldn't hear me, so I was worried.
You sound great. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, bud?
I'm doing great. This is my favorite day of the year. Now, we are both avid golfers. Are you an avid golfer watcher?
No, not really.
No. You just like to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch Sunday, but
so this doesn't do it for you.
I'm very busy. Aren't you busy? Like, you're doing a show. How do you have time
am
to
busy,
watch?
but I'm distracted. I'm not even paying attention today.
That makes two of us.
I'm just watching golf. That's all. I'm I just keep peering behind me. And I got a lot of money on Rory McIlroy. I bet a lot with my heart this week.
What's a lot?
Just, a lot. Just, just make me uncomfortable.
10 grand or $10?
Yeah, not that uncomfortable.
Listen, man, I grew up in South Philly. We had a lot of kids, a couple grand in the hole in like 9th grade, okay? I've seen it all.
That's impressive.
My buddy, I won't say his name. My buddy was in a huge hole. Sunday. Goes into Monday, and he's like, my dad's going to kill me. My brother doesn't know. Like, we got to go hard on this Monday night game here. I'm like, well, how much you down? Now it might not sound that crazy. It may have been like 1,000 or something like that.
But back then it's a lot.
For us in high school, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
So he puts in. I tried to go back and figure it out. This is a good one though. I think he put in a reverse, which a reverse bet is if you lose one side, you lose one bet. But if you lose two sides, you basically double the loss. But if you win both, you win 4 times your money. So let's say you put it in for 500 and he was going to win 2,000, but he could lose either 5 or 1,000. And I believe it was like this sucker bet of all sucker bets. Minnesota was good. Green Bay was not. Green Bay was like 3-6. Minnesota was like 6-3. It was a Monday night game. If you don't know where I'm going yet, wait to hear this one.
Okay.
And I think Green Bay was like favored. It's like, how is the dog favored? Right? I couldn't, or maybe it was the over, or maybe it was Minnesota by 3 and the over, he took the under, but he needed the game to stay under. Long story short, the last thing that he needed in overtime was a Green Bay touchdown. It was the Antonio Freeman catch the ball off his back game.
Oh, that's phenomenal.
I think that's what it was. I think Minnesota was favored by 3 or 3.5. He needed a Minnesota touchdown or maybe like a field goal for a push or something like that. And it was like, well, the worst thing that could happen is for Green Bay to score a touchdown. And he did what?
Oh my God. I have never heard of that type of bet. I gotta do some research on that one.
I don't even know if it was like a South Philly thing or if it's an actual real thing that you could do. I have no idea. But
that sounds like a South Philly type of bet. Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's a style of bet I've never heard of. I love that. God, that's good. Are all these South Philly boys that you grew up with? Like, will they bet on the NFL draft like every pick?
Oh God, yeah. And they ask me, and I say 2 things. 1, I can't tell you. 2, I have no idea. Did they try to call you for insider knowledge? Of course. I'm not allowed to, number 1. Sure. And number 2, even like I'm not even allowed to guess, like say like, hey, I think this might happen. But regardless, like, look, have you seen the reports on Cleveland?
The latest, like in
2 months,
regards
2
to
months
Watson?
ago. 2 months ago, Cleveland's taking a quarterback.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, Cleveland's taking Abdul Carter. Now Cleveland's taking Travis Hunter. Psst. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Of course not. Yeah.
Nobody knows.
What do you think they're going to do?
What do I think they're going to do?
Yeah, just do you think?
Well, that's a good question. That is a good question.
What do you think you're going to do?
What do I think they're going to do? I think they're going to take Travis Hunter.
Really?
That's what I think. And then the Giants at that point now have to make a decision because they're actually pretty solid at pass rusher. You know, I mentioned this. Bob Papa had me on his Manja cast last week.
Love it. That's my favorite name.
They eat while they're on but no, nobody told me I didn't have any food or they were drinking red wine.
But you usually are eating on this show. So
I'm done. I got done early today. And he goes, well, it's not like Kayvon Thibodeau's lit the world on fire. I said, look, if you think Abdul Carter is a generational pass rusher, you take Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got 3 other ones. Ernie Accorsi famously, when they took Matthias Kiwanuka, they already had Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, and Osi Umenyiora. And we were like, why'd you just take another pass rusher? And Ernie said, because you can never have too many pass rushers.
Exactly.
He was right. They used all 4, and they won the Super Bowl in 2007.
Right.
And again in 2011 with Kiwanuka on the team. But then you got, do we go edge rusher? Do we take the quarterback? And I've gone every different possible way on this one for the Giants. I think it's I want Hunter to well, it doesn't matter. I want them on the clock. Do we take Sheduer or do we take a position player? Because now you say, well, we take a position player, he'll contribute immediately, he'll help us win, maybe enough games to keep our job. Great, but now you're in the middle of the first round and you still need a quarterback. Or you take the quarterback and go, let's pray to God we win enough games that we keep our job, and then we've got the quarterback moving forward. Great, awesome. Tough call.
Okay, give me what is going on with the quarterback situation with Cleveland, with like Watson?
Well, he thinks he's still in it.
Okay.
He's wrong. Listen, I think it's gonna amount to what Denver did with Russell Wilson, which is we've got one more year that we are just going to have to eat it. We're going to pay $46 million or whatever it is to Deshaun Watson to not play quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in 2026. That's what I believe. Right now he's injured. They've got an insurance policy. They can get some of that back, blah, blah, whatever. But when it comes to 26, and listen, they could take a quarterback at 2. And if they do, and it's like, dude, that's it. It's over. Or they trade, the Kirk Cousins trade. Kirk Cousins, I believe I told you here on this program, is not going anywhere until after the first round of the draft because he doesn't want what happened in Atlanta to happen to him again. If Cleveland takes a position player at 2 and says, okay, Kirk, you believe us now? Let's make this trade happen. I could absolutely see that happen.
And that makes a lot of sense, does it not?
Makes a ton of sense for everybody involved.
Yeah.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
So as a matter of fact, you ask me right now what's going to happen. I think Cleveland does not go quarterback. They take a position player. Let's call it Travis Hunter. And
I like it.
And then they trade for Kirk Cousins, and they say, "Hey, look, we had enough talent to make the roster. Which phone is beeping? I'm changing phones.
I don't know. How many phones do you have?
I have 2. I will never have more than 1. I have 2. How do I know on the new phone? Hold for silent. See, I got a new phone now. I'm all
okay.
So we're currently restoring here. So yeah, I think that's probably how it's gonna wind up playing out.
If can I make a plea? Do you know people within the Browns organization? A good relationship with them?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking.
I played high school football against Kevin Stefanski. His team was awesome.
Oh, you did?
Sucked.
Perfect. Yes. I want you to reach out to Stefanski and just plead for me.
On which phone? I don't know which one's working right now.
I don't know. Whatever phone you can reach Stefanski at. And just ask him and plead with him. If they do get Kirk Cousins, can they ask Bernie Kosar, can they wear 19? Because Cousins it works. It worked. Let him wear 19. Have they retired?
Help me out here. Is there
19? I just like Bernie Kosar. Remember Bernie Kosar wore 19. Kirk Cousins reminds me of Bernie Kosar. I just think he should wear it. It's a perfect fit.
Okay, Stefanski's got. I got to call Kosar and I got to call Cousins on that one. So
fine, but I mean, just let's plead to him. I mean, no one wears 19 anymore.
Help me out. Is 8 taken with the Browns? I don't know.
No, it's probably not. It's probably available. When I was a kid growing up, I loved those Browns teams because Bernie Kosar. I'd never seen anyone throw a football like that. It was so odd, but he was good and effective. And then he wore 19. Who wears 19? It's such an odd number. Although, didn't Unitas wear 19? Now that I think about it,
sounds right.
Yeah, it's before my time.
Before my time as well. Yeah. I will give him a call.
Yeah.
I will give him a call, and I will. I gotta lock my office door. My daughter's home. Hold on.
Here you go. You don't need them storming in, busting up the joint. I just thought, Kosar, Cousins, 19, just all works. It just fits together. The dog pound, all of it. Okay, so they go Hunter. Let's say they go Hunter there. And then the Giants have a decision. They got all those quarterbacks. They paid all this money to all these guys. I know it's not a ton, but do they then, would you be surprised? Not surprised they take Sanders there at 3?
I would not be surprised. I don't know if that's where I am right now with them, but I would not be surprised. I know that there was a lot of work and a lot of direction toward that. Not even early in the offseason, late last season. So I don't know if anything's changed during the process. I know Daniel Jeremiah and our folks who covered the pro day, Brian Baldinger was there. They didn't love what they saw from Sheduer at that pro day. And I don't, pro days to me can only hurt you, right?
Yeah.
And I think, there was talk of his ball was a little wobbly, and is he the kind of guy that can play in conditions and drive the ball where it needs to be? We'll see. So, I think maybe throughout the process they could have seen stuff and had some close-up interactions. And even with the other guys, like Travis Hunter's a stud. Just a stud.
Yeah.
On and off the field.
He really is.
Yeah. And listen, that's why, like, with the talk of, like, oh, he's going to get to New England. How does he get out of the top 3? How does he get out of the top 3?
He'd be perfect in New York. I mean,
he's
just
generational.
Yeah.
I mean, generational. That's the word that I'm using.
Did we talk
mentioned
last
it earlier
week?
Huh?
Yeah. Did we talk last week about him?
Like, I don't think we talked last week at all.
Did we not?
Which, by the way, I'm away next week too, so we got to.
So am I. So we're good. So am I as well.
I heard you say when you brought him in, he joins us every week. That has not been the case of late.
That's okay though. Well, sometimes it's however the schedule works. It's fine. Yeah. Does he want assurances? I thought we talked about this from teams. You're drafting me as a wide receiver.
No, not that I gather.
Okay.
Not that I gather. I think
because he'll make more money as a wide receiver.
Yeah, but what if he's a cornerback plus? Now you can say, what if he's a wide receiver plus? When he does a deal in 3 years, it's going to be if he pans out and if he's playing both ways, I doubt he's going to play both ways full time. He's going to be like third down, come in at cornerback, or 3 receiver, 4 receiver sets. He comes in those sets. It'll be a Shohei Ohtani type deal where you're paying for, let's call it 1.5. You're paying for 1.5 players. So he's going to make his money regardless. And I think teams are really drafting him and saying, we'll have that conversation afterward. I don't get the sense that it's really happened. Like, hey, we want to play you here. They don't have to. They can draft him and say, here's where we see you. I don't see it as a major stumbling block for any of these teams.
Is he the best player in the draft?
Yeah, I believe so. So.
You think the Titans would shock the world and take him 1?
I don't. I think they're taking Cam Ward. I do. We haven't seen that. I mean, I think Cleveland tried to generate it, with Baker Mayfield, but we all knew they were going Mayfield there at 1. So I think, they're on the clock. They didn't call until like 3 minutes left or something, which they're always instructed to do. I remember Steve Keim just sitting there, and there was a shot of the Cardinals war room. There was only like 3 guys there, and they were just sitting there and like, okay, now I'll pick up the call and call Kyler Murray.
I enjoyed. Hey, what is there any buzz around Seattle? Any what's the rumorville around what they may do or may not do at 18?
You're now in the realm of, I mean, they were sort of there last year where we saw them taking Byron Murphy. Mm-hmm. They had who did I just report the other day? They had a edge rusher in or a defensive lineman in. Come on, Puck. You're usually all over my reports.
No, the defensive lineman. I know they just had the Georgia center in for a visit, and they had Jalen Milroe in for a visit. The Alabama quarterback.
Yeah, I don't see the Milroe thing. I could be. I mean, Milroe's going to be a little later if possible. Was it Michael Williams?
Okay, sure.
It's
your report.
Dude.
I mean, I can help you. Look it up, but I don't.
Here it is, Michael Williams. Yes, the Georgia edge rusher. That's who it was. Okay. Was in with the. Oh, that's right, because he did the tour of the NFC West. He did 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals. So yeah, I mean, listen, there could be the need for some help at the on that side of the ball, helping to get after the quarterback. So I think once you're in the back half, once you're past 16. You're at the mercy of what's going to happen in front of you. So I think they can go in a number of ways, and they're certainly showing you by their interest pre-draft and what they're doing. It's offensive line, it's defensive line. Jalen Milroe is not going to be a first round. I don't think he's going to be
sure.
They're shocked. We've got him on Good Morning Football tomorrow. I'm on Good Morning Football, so be interested to see what kind of interactions he's had. But I think he goes later.
When you report on these visits, I mean, are these like legitimate? Or teams doing this as like a smokescreen?
I don't believe they're a smokescreen. I think it's just, especially when you're up high. Like you're up high. The Giants brought in everybody in that cluster of 2, 3, 4, 5 picks, right? So you do that and say, nobody's going to know what we're doing because these are the guys projected to go there. I think once you get into a little bit later in the first round, you'll start to see clusters at one position, which kind of gives you an indication of where they're looking. Because it's hard to kind of bring in everybody at that point because there's so many options available. I don't think there's smoke screens. Now, listen, just because the guy's coming in doesn't mean they're interested in him. I mean, a lot of times we need more information on this guy. I've sometimes you put out like, oh, this guy's been incredibly busy. He had 13 visits. And I've had agents say, why is the agent putting that out? That's a bad thing. That means people have a lot of questions. If a guy's on 2 visits, that's a good thing, So listen, it fills the time. I reported a workout recently, and one of the coaches from the team was like, why is that considered a big deal? Like, we're working out a guy. Of course we're going to work out guys. I said, because it gives us something to talk about.
It's just the NFL. We were some buddies and I were sitting at the baseball game yesterday just joking about this. Like, you think about like the NFL draft, right? It's in Green Bay, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Think how many people are going to be there to go sit there and watch the NFL draft. Like we were talking about like bucket list items, like if you could go into any sporting event. And I was talking about the Masters, and we were coming up with a bunch of other stuff. But they're like, well, what about the NFL draft? Or one of these guys who said, I want to go to the NFL draft. I'm like, why? Why would you want to go watch that?
Well,
sit with all those people and like watch the draft? Like, that doesn't sound fun to me. But you're gonna, when the draft comes around in a couple of weeks, there's gonna be, how many people are gonna be there? Like 100,000?
In Green Bay, I don't know how that town's going to be able to hold that many people.
But that's what they get in other cities, right?
Yeah.
It's something around that figure.
Yeah, traffic on the way out. I know they're not used to traffic either. It's going to be pretty brutal.
It's going to be nuts. People eat it up.
Yeah. I mean, Green Bay doesn't get these events. They get Packers games. That's it. They don't get 3-day huge events like that.
How are they going to handle this?
I don't know, and I'm not there, and I'm not worried about it. So I've gone to 3 drafts in my life, 2 in Chicago, 1 in Radio City. The one in Radio City was awesome. Yeah. Awesome. I don't think, for some reason, I was not, because I was at Fox for the 2 in Chicago, and I was not in the building for the first round, only the second round. I don't know why. I don't know what my assignment would have been. But Radio City, I was there for the start of the first round. It was pretty electric. I was like, this is a really cool event. Okay. Have you ever seen the Bill Burr rip on the NFL draft?
No, but I'm going to have to go watch it because I love Bill Burr.
It takes a turn, and it involves Michael Sam because it was around that time.
Okay. Yeah, well.
But there's a part where he just rips on the tree. He's like, why are you – they're going to have all the names the next day. He goes – let me let Bill Burr tell his own joke.
I'd rather just sit at home and watch it. I want to get an Aaron Rodgers here before we let you go, but first, the Geno Smith thing gets introduced press conference, and it said all the right things, but then there was the classic, and all athletes do this, and I felt disrespected.
You did?
No, he did. He said I felt a little disrespected by them.
Of course he did. He wanted more money.
But it's not like he got more money from the Raiders, but it's not like the Raiders offered him like security forever. It really is almost kind of a 1-year deal too.
Of course it is. He didn't get much more. He got what? Base value, he got 37.5 or something.
Yeah.
And he was offered 35 from Seattle. Yeah. And I actually made this mistake, and somebody was in my Instagram deep DMs. I found it, but sometimes there's good, valuable information. Okay. And in this case, the guy saved me from making the mistake again. I said, well, he's going to a tax-free state. I had no idea you guys were a tax-free state. I screwed that one up. So it's not like, because I said, well, he was getting 35 in Seattle.
Oh, I got you.
And 37, which is really like a bigger jump. No, I didn't realize you guys are no state income. How awesome is that? That's great.
Well, I mean, yes and no, but then, when you go buy liquor and it's, it's something's $20 and then all of a sudden you check out and it's $900. I mean, there's.
I don't know how that works. I mean, I always wonder where you people get your money for your roads and your bridges and like whatever. Right?
You know what? It's property taxes. That's what it is. Every year a property tax goes up.
Yeah, but we have that too.
Yeah, you guys don't you double dip, don't you?
Yeah. Wait, I mean, we're getting crushed on income and on property tax.
That's why we don't live.
And we have taxes when we go to the store too, like
and tolls.
And tolls.
They just get you everywhere. Nonstop.
The houses are more expensive and the food's more expensive.
It's almost on par out. Actually, no, it's like Seattle and like where you're at is like on par now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but it's whatever. It's all
you're still making out. Trust me.
Yeah. I would say. All right, so. Yeah, so he didn't get some great security from the Raiders. No. I mean, he's going to a coach he loves and respects and all that, but it's not like the Raiders rolled out the red carpet and said, "Here's financial security for your life."
Yep. And that's why it took long. We thought it was going to be like, boom, he got traded. And it took a couple of weeks before it finally got done. So, yeah, I just sometimes it's like you get to a new place. It's like Tyreek Hill. He was in Kansas City. Oh, I want to go to Miami. Give him 3 years now. He was asking for a trade out of there, which supposedly they patched it up. But it's just a new – it's like, people who can't settle down, they want a new girlfriend or a new wife every couple of years, which – you know what? Maybe they've got it figured out. I don't know.
I think they might. You never know. All right, Aaron Rodgers. What is going on with this? I mean, this is like the longest episode or series of The Bachelor.
If and when he signs with the Steelers, he's going to have to, even if it's not fully accurate, right? He's going to have to say, no, it wasn't about the Steelers and another team. It was about, do I want to continue to play? Last year was very tough on me physically and mentally, and the toll of the recovery. And like he's got to say it was like, do I really want to commit fully? And yes, I took the time, and now I'm ready to go. If I hadn't taken that time, I wouldn't be. So you're getting the best version of me. Right. But Aaron, call me. I can write you your notes for your press conference right there. I mean, it's got to be that. And there was at some point the thought of, whether he wants to continue play, and it may still be going through it. I don't know. He's not talking, and trust me, I'm not going to be the one like people in Aaron's circle because it's a super tight circle. And even the people that I do get to in there go, you guys don't know what you're talking about. So there was definitely a, play versus not play, then play for who type of thing. I'm surprised that we don't have something now. The Steelers are 1,000,000% going to lean on him before the draft and be like, dude, come on, man. We got to make a decision here. So, and at that point, it could be a move at 20 or 21, or wherever they are. That could change things. So we'll see.
Yeah, because they're at 21. I mean, there could be in a world where Sanders would fall all the way down to 21 to him.
Yeah, if Sheduer gets past the Giants, I know people are talking about the Saints. I don't see the Jets taking him. I don't see the Raiders making that move. There's too many other good position players in the top 10. It could be a slide at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, enjoy your time off next week.
Yeah, next week. And then the week after, we're into day one of the draft. What's our plan there? Are you going to have your little
if we want to do it again, it's up to you.
It's up to me.
If you want to, I mean, yeah, I'm going to do it again. I got to get on that.
If you're going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it.
You're going to do it.
I'm a procrastinator. I just keep putting stuff off. But
I'm saying, my decision does not affect your decision. You're going to do it.
Yes. And I write down all these little Post-it notes, and all my Post-it notes on my desk is, hey, NFL draft show, let's get that going. I wrote that a month ago.
All right. I may pop in and out a little bit more this time.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. It'll be fun. All right. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
You got it, buddy. Enjoy your golf.
Yeah, thank you. There he is, Mike Garafolo, NFL Network, brought to you by Hartley & Hartley Insurance. It's your trusted family-owned insurance experts in the Puget Sound area since 1978. Honesty, fairness, integrity. Contact Jamie Hartley, 253-565-8700. Also, Zogs on Fox Island. Great spot as the weather is getting warmer. Grab a cold beer, hang out with friends, catch your favorite game at Zogs on Fox Island. Find their hours and event times on Facebook and Instagram. All right, let's talk more football, though, from a Seahawks perspective. Our weekly conversation with Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic, brought to you by Georgetown Brewery and Georgetown's new Tavern Beer.
Drink Georgetown Tavern Beer, your new locally brewed domestic-style lager. 4.2% alcohol. Cheap, good, local.
Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic, The Dugar Report. You can follow Mike on social media at Mike Dugar. Of course, co-host of the world-renowned podcast, Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast, covers the Seahawks for The Athletic, and he joins us weekly, brought to you by Georgetown's new Tavern Beer, easy drinking domestic-style lager made with Pacific Northwest barley and Yakima Valley hops, 4.2%, brewed by our good friends at Georgetown Brewery, makers of Manny's and Bodhisattva and Rogers Pilsner. Michael-Shawn Dugar joining us from the Dugar Estate, joining me inside the Limbach Lumber Studios. All right, draft is getting closer and closer and closer and closer. Do we got anything? Are there any rumors, rumblings on the Seahawks, or are they keeping everything close and tight to the vest?
Yeah, I think they're still treating everything like state secrets. It's weird. It feels like when they have higher picks, it feels like we get a little bit more of an indication of what they're gonna do. I remember that, like when they had the 5th pick, I feel like it was not just more intriguing, obviously because the pick was higher, but just more inclination on where they might go. Their interest in quarterbacks was obviously very evident based on how much they paraded around their entire brain trust to everybody's pro day and took selfies, which I thought was fun. I would love to see Mike Macdonald do that. It just seems like that's not his bag at all. And even the year they had Charles, it was you could just get a sense like, oh yeah, they're probably going to take an offensive lineman. It was so obvious. They didn't re-sign Dwayne Brown, so they needed a left tackle, yada yada. Here, not as much. With the 18th pick and 5 picks in the top 100, it does feel like John. It feels like he's trying to let us know how much he's learned from the past. Like, hey, I used to do this. That's burned us. I've learned my lesson on this. We got to operate like this. Not to say he has drastically changed his process, but he's almost over explaining this offseason, it feels like, which is good. I enjoy it because what the hell were you thinking is something that I've wondered quite a few years with John. So it's nice to know what he is thinking.
Mike, do you think he's doing that? Do you think why is he doing that? Is he feeling some type of pressure, you think?
Yeah. Well, I can't speak to pressure. That's I think he feels the sense of urgency among the fan base. I think that's probably a better way to put it, because pressure would involve like feeling something from people who cut checks, and I don't know if he's feeling that. But definitely from the fan base for sure. I mean, when he does his radio show, he's got a good PR director in Dave Pearson. I know Dave keeps him abreast of the narratives and the conversations going around, whether it's something as frivolous as Picturegate last offseason or how fans feel about the offensive line. Like, that's the PR guy's job in that case to like, hey, just so you know, this is the talk. And I think that I know that Dave does that. And that's good that he does that because it's important. And you just hear so much of John defending his process lately. And I don't think that's by accident. I think he's recognizing that is in question quite a bit. It's because then it comes to, if you're the GM, process and transactions is really all you got, man. You don't run no 40s, like you don't coach on Sunday. So all we got is the decisions you make. But as you know, sometimes it's the decisions you don't, or the decisions you tried to make but couldn't get done because it takes 2 to tangle. And you can kind of sense John explaining that more and more and more. Not to say it all makes sense. Half of it doesn't. But just his attempt to try to, make it, let everyone know, hey, I know what I'm doing. Trust me. And that is one hell of an ask based on the track record at some spots.
How much more influence will Mike Macdonald have this year in the draft? Do you think he'll be more vocal, more active in the process, or do coaches now just sit back? Listen, that's not our thing. That's the personnel department. They can make those decisions.
I think broadly what I've kind of learned about coach involvement, every coach for the most part kind of has their thing that they can get the benefit of the doubt on. For Pete, it was obviously DBs. With Mike, it seems to be linebackers and just defense in general. And you can go so on. Like Aaron Glenn's probably going to have a heavier input on any DBs the Jets take. Just everybody kind of has that thing. Sean McVay, maybe quarterbacks, and so on and so forth. D'Amico Ryans, linebackers. So I think if anything, you'll probably get better defensive fits now. I think John recognized who can play defense and who can't. Duh. But like, who's gonna shine in this particular scheme? Like, who's gonna just make an impact, particularly early on? I think they probably have a better feel for it now. I mean, I think last year, Puck, might have been the first time I saw a draft pick just not even make the team. DJ James didn't even make it. He's a 6th-round pick. We've had guys they've taken who maybe not panned out, obviously, that late, but dude just didn't even make it. That's pretty rare. And I think that's the type of stuff that you probably want to cut out if you're the Seahawks. Not to say that all your 6th-round picks need to be Pro Bowlers or whatever, but dog, they should make the squad because you just took that pick and threw it in Lake Washington, so to speak. So I think you probably see a little bit better fits in that regard. And then O-line, I think we're transitioning slowly back to the Tom Cable level of influence with those selections. As you know, Tom Cable had so much influence over their picks that they were trotting Tom out on draft night, to explain them. And I don't know if John Benton will speak. That's the new O-line coach. I don't know if he'll speak on draft night when they take a guy. But it feels like we're transitioning back more to that, to say, hey, we are so set on making sure that the guys we take align with who the coaches need, that we will have the coaches explain it to you after we take them. And that's something that they lost a little bit, for better or worse. I think we're kind of getting back to that. I think in particular with, you see the influence with the line coaches and defensive guys, because obviously that's Mike's bread and butter.
Yeah. Well, which I think is a good thing, right? I mean, I think coaches should have an influence. I mean, I think, and especially position coaches, I think they should be part of the process. You know, I mean, obviously not the final say and all that kind of stuff, because there can be a back and forth between the two sides. And obviously the personnel department's been doing it, you know, all season long. And the coaches, you know, they, you know, certainly pop their head in there in and out, but, you know, they can't be involved in it as much because they're coaching. But, you know, to your point, which you just raised, they are coaching them. You know, they would probably like, hey, I think that guy's a better fit for what we're trying to do here. Let me give you my 2 cents. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great approach. I mean, I would assume most teams do that, but yeah, if they got away from it, that's probably a mistake on their part.
You'd be surprised, though, with different organizations, what level of influence coaches have and which ones don't, which position coaches get the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes it's warranted, you know, sometimes, you know, you might get a DB coach who bangs the table for a guy, maybe a DB coach bang the table for DJ James. You know, it could be that. You know, maybe you get an instance where DB coach likes a guy, but the scout who spent 6 months on this guy doesn't, or, you know, or vice versa. Like, how do you break that tie? You know, that goes into it as well. The area scout that loves this random linebacker from the Southwest region versus maybe Mike McDonald comes in and is like, I don't know, man, that guy can't shed a block to save his life. Mm-hmm. How you break the tie? You know, I think that's where teams, particularly in later rounds. I think in the early rounds, like your top 50, maybe top 100, you probably want just a general consensus. If we don't all love this guy, let's not take him. I think where you get the meat and potatoes of your draft class is sometimes tough. Like, oh, how do we break a tie? Position coach, maybe defer to the scout who's watched a lot more of them and has been at the school and maybe met the kids' parents or whatever. So it's tough, man. Honestly, Puck, one of my hot takes for the draft is we spend way too much time on it. Like, I think teams do. I mean, like, I just don't.
Teams do, not us.
Yes, I mean, not us. Because we're basically just we're all part of the machine in terms of promoting a TV show for ESPN or whatever.
It is a TV show, right?
But in terms of the teams, I don't think there needs to be this much time in between the college football season ending and the draft. I think it's like 3 months, 3 and some change. Like that's just way too long. I think if the draft was in February, I don't think the teams would be any better or worse at selecting. I think what would honestly improve is just I think teams would get better at it because you have less time to overthink. Like there's full-on articles and stories now on whether it's good or bad that Sheduer Sanders pats the ball. Like that's kind of those are things that only happen when you have to do this for 3 months. Right? That's exactly what that is. So I don't think we need it.
It's a television series. You know that.
I think you can still do it just after. Like if the draft was when the combine is, like let's say the draft was right after the combine, first week of March. You know, like you attach it to that. We'd still have all this time to dissect and do stuff, you know, and we'd still have a dead period in June and July. I don't think any of that would change.
You need that carrot to be dangled right now. Like what would take it? What would take its place in April? Like you need that build up.
I think you switch free agency. I think you put free agency afterwards, like they do in the NBA. Because you look at how they do it, it's not like July is any less intriguing because people have already made their draft picks. You know, and I think the argument in favor of having it the way it is now is so that veterans don't get squeezed out because everyone thinks, oh, well, Mike, if they got a 3rd round pick, they just took that guy. Why would they pay insert guy? Well, it's like, I got bad news for you. In theory, you're correct. In application, that's already happening. They're already cutting a Quandre Diggs for money purposes so they can go draft a safety. Like that's already happening. There is no middle class, really. Either you're a premier guy getting the bag or you're cut as a cap casualty. It's already happening. We would just change when it happens. But that it happens would not change if you switch the order.
Draft. I mean, how active do you think he wants to be? He likes to trade. I mean, I think there's a lot of GMs that like to trade, but obviously Schneider is one of those guys that, man, he loves to wheel and deal. The expectation he keeps 18, likely wouldn't move up. Does he move down? How active do you think he gets in the 2nd round of wanting to acquire more picks?
I got 2 trade predictions. I think they trade out of 18 and trade up in the 2nd, because I think that this is a draft where a lot of teams are going to have similar grades on prospect 13 through like 50, probably something like that. And so if you're John, who's pretty stingy with 1st round grades, as I understand, I bet you probably only got like 10 or 11 1st round grades on guys, you know, if that maybe. So if you're on the board at 18, all your guys are gone. Well, you trade out. Now, the trade compensation isn't as great as it used to be, at least based on the last few drafts. You might get a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick, or whatever to move back. But whatever, take it. It's better than taking a guy you don't like, at 18 or whatever. So I think that's going to happen because I think the likelihood that someone with a 1st-round grade is there for them. Now, maybe they don't have a partner and have to pick anyway. I think they tried to trade before taking Jordan Brooks. So they'll tell us they had a 1st-round grade on him, but you tried to trade out of it. I doubt that they had a 1st-round grade on LJ, for instance. That was pick 29 in 2019. So that's my first prediction, just because I don't think there'll be someone with a 1st-round grade available.
So out of the 1st round altogether?
No, I think it's going to be two. I think because people view prospects so similarly, I don't think you'll get like the Browns coming up from 33 or whatever to, or 34, whatever they have to 18. But I could see just jumping back a few spots and just feeling like, all right, we still may not we don't have a 1st-round grade on this guy, but now we picked up an extra 5th or whatever, with the thought, which ties into my second prediction, that they then move up in the 2nd round, the top of the 2nd. I think let's say you trade from 18 to 23 or whatever. You may not still have a 1st-round grade on the guy you took at 23, but you're like, you know what, this is basically the early 2nd round to us anyway. And now we picked up an extra 5th, an extra 6th or whatever, maybe even a 4th. Let's use that when we're on the board with pick 50 or whatever, trying to get up to 39, 37, blah, 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 where they took Derek Hall. I think, you use the ammunition you get in a trade back to eventually take a guy, but also then trade up in the 2nd. Because I think that's where I can see a lot of activity there because of what I'm saying about where teams have such and such. They're going to wake up Friday morning and be like, yo, that guy's still there? Let's call the Giants. Let's call the Browns. Let's call the Patriots. All these teams that have the high 2nd-round picks. I could see that. That's my kind of early trade scenario prediction.
Because the people that you talk to within the organization, they would probably tell you something very similar that we've heard about this draft, right? Lacks the star power, but it has some depth to it.
Yeah, I think there's star power at certain spots. It just depends on what spot you're looking for. Like, honestly, I think there's a lot of good defensive tackles here. I think if you need receivers, I don't say if you need a receiver too, it's a good draft. But yeah, just generally, it's not just like blue chip guys. And who knows how accurate that'll end up being. For instance, the Seahawks John told us he punted on the 2021 draft, which is when they only had 3 picks, gave up a lot for Jamal in that trade because he was kind of unsure about how things would look, COVID and everything. You look at the top of that class, it was great. Everybody from that class getting paid. That's except for the quarterbacks, they all stunk. But you look at Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle. Micah hasn't gotten paid yet, but he's going to. Like that class had studs at the position at the non-quarterback spot. So who knows? Maybe this class is like that as well. So yeah, but not a lot. I don't think you're going to see a lot of teams trying to jump up. Like if the Browns dangle that 2nd pick, I'd be surprised if someone gives them trades the house for that. This is just not that kind of draft.
In the first, I got to pull it up because I always got to remind myself. So they've got what 1, 2, 3 picks in the top 52, right? 18, 50, and 52. What's got to be the goal for them and those if they keep those picks, the 3 in the top 52? What's ultimately got to be the goal for them to acquire what type and what level of talent?
So the way I look at it is kind of tiered. I think you need a starter in that first round. I don't really care what spot. Just he should be able to start. Like I wasn't mad at the Byron Murphy pick. I understand, but at the end of the day, he wasn't starting. And I think you need someone who has a path, like a pretty direct path to starting, like Charles Cross, obvious direct path to starting. Devin Witherspoon, obvious direct path. Jackson, essentially the same thing, 3-wide receiver world they were living in. You are in effect a starter. I think it has to be something like that. That doesn't mean you can't take. You can take a spot where you already have a starter, like tight end, for instance. You can take one if he's better than Noah Fant and AJ Barner today. Sure, that's great. Take a safety if you want. If he's better than Julian Love or Kobe Bryant by September 9th or whatever. Cool, roll him out there. But I think that has to be the thought. If you're getting a guy you don't think you can start, keep trading back until whatever. Just don't force a guy you don't think has a clean path to starting. preferably by opening day. That should be the goal. And day 2, I don't need him to start right away, but by year 2, he should be. Like that should, like if year one, we're going to get him some reps in case somebody gets hurt, whatever. That just kind of is the nature of football. And year 2, he should be rolling. And I think that if you look at it like that, their drafts, that's kind of why they've been a little bit underwhelming a little bit, is like, yeah, these guys haven't popped right away, but then that next year, like Zach Charbonnet's still a backup. He's picked 52. Derek Hall still a backup. He's picked 37. Boye Mafe is a good player, but he might be, if they start Chenna and D-Law, Boye is essentially your third edge rusher. He's picked 40. So, I think that's how you should look at your day 2 guys. Like maybe you get some reps due to injury year 1, but by year 2, I should be able to let the veteran ahead of you walk if he's too expensive or whatever, knowing because, hey, I got insert pick 52, insert pick 82. That should be the thought. And then day 3, it doesn't matter. Fill some needs. Just take ball players on day 3.
Okay. What does your gut tell you on those? Let's say in the first 90, the first, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 5 picks they have in the top 92. What's your gut tell you that finally, once and for all, they take a quarterback?
That's funny. I got a story coming on that tomorrow. I couldn't finish it in time to get it to run today. But yeah, I could see John and those guys just loving the hell out of this Tyler Shough guy. I don't love him. But I did watch all of the quarterbacks. I watched them all this week, except for Milroe and Sheduer, because I kind of had watched them quite a bit during the season. But the other guys, like I didn't watch Syracuse games until they played us in the bowl game, yada yada. But of the guys I watched, so that was McCord, Will Howard, Shough, Dart, and I think one more guy. Of those, I could easily see them loving Shough, because if he wasn't already the same age as me, he'd probably be drafted higher. Like he can spin it. Fuck, I'm telling you, like he got a good arm, probably as good an arm as anyone in the class that's not Cam Ward. He moves really well, like really, really well. He can change his arm angles, like super good. So he knows how to problem solve. Like, hey, I'm getting pressured, but let me just sidearm this real quick so I can get it to my guy to avoid a sack or a throwaway, or whatever. He's a risk taker. Like I could see them easily loving that dude. That he'll play on time, but if shit hits the fan, he'll figure it out. Versus someone like Dart, I would say, who his recourse, at least from the games that I saw, when shit hit the fan, he just dropped his eyes and ran, which is fine. He's a good athlete, but that's not sustainable. I mean, Jalen Hurts even has that issue now, and he's a great athlete. Like he drops his eyes and runs. So I think if they do take a guy, I could see them falling in love with Shough because he just has so much good tools. He has a strong arm. He's mobile, throws off platform, gets out of trouble. I can hit throws at all 3 levels. He's just he'll be 26 as a rookie. That's like his main drawback.
That's it? Just because he's going to turn 26? Because everybody that you're the same, and everybody that you listen to that talks about him raves about him. And then if you didn't know where he was projected to go, everyone would think, well, that's going to be one of the top quarterbacks taken. He's a top 10 draft pick. He's a top 5. But yet, is it just the age? Like, who cares?
It's 2 things. It's the age, which I get to, but I also think if you just look at the play, it's also like he's got that like I got to give my guy a chance mentality with his play, which is fine. But it's like sometimes you got to tell him, dude, no, you don't. It's fine. It's second down. You do not got to throw that. You can just take it's going to be a big sack here. It might be 11 yards because you scrambled, but dude, just go down. Don't got to throw it late. You don't got to, he'll throw the ball like when his butt's damn near on the ground because he's got a strong arm and because his guy is there in the flat. He does that in the flat quite a bit from the games I watch, which is dangerous. How you get like pick sixes and stuff to linemen because you're just trying to flip it to your running back last second to avoid a sack. So like some of the decision making is a little iffy in that regard. It's more so just like way too much faith in his own arm, which Drew Lock had that same issue in Denver, which is why I think he led the league in picks in 2020. So I see a little bit of Drew Lock, Matt Stafford in that regard. Matt, who also led the league in picks in 2021. So these guys who have so much faith in their arm that they just feel like, you know what, fuck it, I can do it. I've done it my whole life. Like, well, no, the DBs are better. The linemen are faster. And I think the other part is because he's not like, I feel like if you've been in college so long that you roomed with Justin Herbert, that you should be like so much better. You should be more like polished than he currently is. That's where I think the age factors in. Penix was the same thing for me. It's like, dude, you've been in college for a minute. You should be like, way better at like just everything if you've been in college so this long. I think Shough was like 6 or 7 years. So I think that's where the age comes in. I'm with you. Like just taking a guy longevity, that doesn't matter. Russ and Geno both made Pro Bowls in their age 32 and age 33 seasons. Like you can play forever at QB. That's not an issue. Anyone saying that is silly. But I do think if you are going to be 26 as a rookie, I need you to look like Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
Jaden played. He had 1,000,000 snaps in college between Arizona and LSU, and he looked like it when you watched him. You're like, oh, this guy's seen that blitz. He knows how to read this. He's super accurate. Like that. I need you to look like that if you're going to be older. Whereas if you're younger, you can look like Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson was like 20 years old when he got drafted or whatever, and it looked like it, which was fine. So I think that's where for me, that's why you bring up his age. It's like the polish relative to age, if that makes sense.
Okay. All right. What do you got? So tomorrow the story comes out on the quarterbacks at the Athletic.
Yeah. I talked a little bit about Shough and some of the other like guys I would take in each round or each day. Excuse me. Because I think I really only like a couple guys for the Seahawks. I think their scheme is so defined that it makes it honestly very easy to say yes, no, because I know what the scheme looks like. It's tried and true. So yeah, I went through some of the guys, watched them. I didn't do it. It's not a film breakdown because I'm not that good at that, but just like, hey, trust me, I watched the guys. Here's who fits. Here's who I think the Seahawks may like, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I got that coming out tomorrow on the Athletic.
All right, and then when I watch and listen to the latest Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast on YouTube and all podcast platforms, what am I getting?
Who do we just have? Oh, we had my man Kyron Samuels, man. He covers the NFL and college for on SI. Man, Kai is great, man. Played at Jacksonville State. Had a cup of coffee with some of the not semi-pro, but like XFL stuff like that too. Played offensive line. But just knows ball, man. Like as much as people may think when I'm talking about football, so I'm like, I know it. Kai's 10 times that, man. So we had him do Puck, which I really liked. We had him do he's what they look like just the best players available. Just forget going position by position. Just who are the dudes? And one of the reasons we did that, because I think the Seahawks would do that in the draft. They're just gonna try to take the best guys. But also I remember talking to Randy Mueller about drafting Walter Jones, who as you know, didn't play much at Florida State. His final year was a JUCO transfer, was in a rotation at Florida State, wasn't a ton of tape on him, and they used a high pick on him with new ownership. As you know, they had to cut a big check back then, like right away, and that was a big deal. And I remember asking Randy about why he was so convicted, and one of the things he mentioned was, he's like, man, I didn't know what I didn't know, but also, Mike, when I watched this guy, that is what a left tackle looked like. That's all I needed to know. So I just know that's it. The bend, the athleticism, forget how many reps he's had or whatever. That's what it looks like. So I'm taking it. And obviously that panned out. So that's why I wanted to frame with our discussion with Kai. Who's what they look like at that spot? Take them. And that's what we have up right now. YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everywhere podcasts are found.
Perfect. Go listen to it. Go watch it. Also read all of Mike's work up at The Athletic, athletic.com, the Dugar Report with Michael-Shawn Dugar. Again, find all of his work at The Athletic. Co-host Seahawks Man-to-Man podcast. Georgetown Tavern Beer brings you Dugar every single week. Easy drinking domestic-style lager made with Pacific Northwest barley and Yakima Valley hops, 4.2%, brewed by our good friends at Georgetown Brewery. All right, I'm off next week, so we will talk to you 2 weeks. That will be the draft, right? Oh my God, it will be. We'll have to work around that. We'll have to work around that draft day. But all right, so until then, we'll get your latest Dugar mock draft.
Right now, or when I'm about to do my next one?
I want it in 2 weeks. I want it before we get to the draft. Your latest one before we get to it. All right.
I think the timing's going to work out on that. I think mine is due April 21st. We have to do. Everyone at the Athletic has to do one the week of the draft. I think mine's due like April 22nd or something. So there you go. I haven't started it yet. But
give me some surprises. I want some chaos. All right, do it for me. I want chaos.
It's nice when shout out to my colleague at the Athletic, Dane Brugler. I'm much better at mocks once he drops the beast. But Puck filling out day 3 picks before he drops that.
Dane, that thing, and that's a good promo because that's a good promotion for that because Dane's on with us. He's part of the Pucks Posse membership. You can go and listen to all and watch all of his episodes. Sign up to be a member today. But Dane releases, for those who don't know, Dane Brugler releases this. I don't know how many pages this thing is. It's the beast. He covers every single person in this draft. And it's even bigger and better now because normally you would get it in like a PDF form, which is great. And I would print that thing out for the draft, and it looks like a Bible. But now it's like interactive, perfect for like for the web, and it's just beautiful. And he puts so much time and effort into it, and you just get nuggets out of there that you just don't get anywhere else. All right, we'll talk to you in a few weeks, Mike.
All right. See you, Puck. Go Cougs.
Yeah, go Cougs as always. There he is, Michael-Shawn Dugar from The Athletic. Big thanks to Mike joining us every single week. He'll do so leading up until the NFL draft. And then, you know what? We're going to give him a break and say, hey, you've done enough. All right, let's switch gears back over to baseball. We talked to you in the early portion of the show about baseball and the Mariners and what they did last night. And just I said it before, I was at the game yesterday afternoon. Just one of those dumbest, most insanely fun games that I've ever been a part of, when you watch a team just completely do nothing for 8 innings, and then all of a sudden, and I did turn to one of my buddies at the time. I said, they're going to get to the 8th inning, and just something stupid's going to happen. They're going to get like an error, bloop singles, and then all of a sudden they're right back into the game, because they kind of do that a lot. And they eventually pulled off the victory. A much-needed win for them, first series win. Just the season is not off to the start that anyone wants. They're dealing with a bunch of injuries. They needed something positive to happen. At least they took the one step in the right direction. No one knows if this is going to carry over when they start their series with the Rangers, but you needed to get that first series win out of the way. Every Thursday, we catch up with Brad Adam from Root Sports, and we tape him in the morning because Thursdays usually are Brad's off day, and he's like, can we just tape in the morning so I can go out and be like a husband and a father? And I said, you're damn right. So here's our conversation with Brad Adam, Root Sports, all brought to you by John Howie Steak and Whiskey by John Howie. One of our favorite times of the week, ladies and gentlemen, it's Brad Adam from Root Sports as we get this show underway here on a Thursday. It is Masters Thursday. I don't know if you can tell. I'm wearing it probably doesn't look green, but it's a green jacket.
Is that a jacket? Okay.
Yeah, it's a green jacket. On the back of it, I could stand up and show it to you, but then I think the jacket would rip. On the back of it, I have got like all these years that my buddies and I have played in a golf tournament. We hand out a green jacket. Yeah, and it's just it's really getting tight.
Is it like the Chris Farley jacket? With
Yeah. I mean, it's like
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, you got to wear golf attire today.
I tried to find
the
closest, hat that at least was green, and this is my little league team, so I went with green.
Smart.
It is one of the greatest days of the year.
Here's something real quick. I have a Masters hat from somebody who went there, gave it to me. Do I wear that? Because I've never been. It's like,
I think you can.
It's okay.
I think you can. If someone gave it to you, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely. It's one thing when I went there, I didn't buy a hat. I only bought like one thing.
What'd you buy?
I bought like a pullover. I'm wearing the pullover. I don't know if you can't see it here.
You went.
There's the pullover.
So,
see the pullover?
There it is.
There it is.
Look at that.
Yeah, I tell the funny story every time. It's thrill of a lifetime, bucket list, all that kind of stuff. But I went the year Danny fucking Willett won. And it was a major disappointment.
Yeah, big
because
time.
that was the year that Jordan was going to win back-to-back.
Okay.
Spieth is on a heater.
Yep.
And that's
like what, 16?
Yeah, this is 16. So remember 15 he wins 17? He wins
Yep.
Masters, he wins he wins US Open.
Yeah, something, right?
Yeah, he won the US Open because it was at Chambers Bay. So he's on a heater.
Yeah.
He's on an absolute heater. And then he gets to Augusta, he gets to hole number 12.
Yeah.
And falls apart.
2 in the water, was it?
Something like that. And it was just everybody was the collective moan oh.
Yeah.
And you had to look at the leaderboard. Who's up there? Oh,
Danny Willett.
Who's Danny Willett?
Yeah.
Let's get the show started, ladies and gentlemen. It's all brought to you by our good friends at John Howie Steak. Cue it. There it is. Look at these people having fun. John Howie Steak.
No kids, having fun.
#1 dining experience in all of the land. John Howie Steak. Premium meat. And, of course, we got whiskey by John Howie. We got everything there by John Howie. He is a one-stop shop of fun. Classic Steakhouse, best selection of hand-cut steaks from USDA Prime to Japanese A5 Wagyu. As you arrive, smell unmistakable scent of the Mystique charcoal grill and seared steaks. Take a moment, close your eyes.
I can smell it now.
You can smell it now. Classic tableside service, Caesar salad. Oh, I love this. I love the table service Caesar salad. It's one of the best things of all time. Bananas Foster. They've maintained the best of award of excellence from the Wine Spectator for the past 17 years. Our team of certified sommeliers, they help you execute a wine that will perfectly suit the flavors of your meal, your personal taste, and your price point. Also, Whiskey by John Howie, named one of the top whiskey bars in America by Whiskey Advocate magazine. They bring you Brad Adam from Root Sports every single week. How much work do you think gets done here on Thursday, Friday?
By us?
Well, I mean, for me, I have done nothing today. I mean, I have loosely looked at things. I've been fixated on the Masters app and just watching everything.
Exactly. Probably more than the NCAA tournament Thursdays, but maybe a little bit more than that, but not a whole lot. But hey, a shout out to you.
Oh,
I'm in San Francisco, which was just lovely. Best weather we've ever had.
I love the city. I know it gets a bad rap.
True. I agree with you. Oracle Park is fantastic. I did what you said. I walked around. I did everything in back there with that little the slide and the wiffle ball field. It's
the wiffle ball field is an all-timer.
It's all they got the big scoreboard in the middle. The kids
T-Mobile needs to add where the kids park is?
Yeah.
They need to get rid of that.
Up to 300 level? Oh.
No. We're on the main level. You know where the little park is? The little the jungle gym?
Level. Oh, yes.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
Put the wiffle ball field in there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I'm going to the clubhouse, and Oracle Park is interesting. If you're in like the on the field or 100 level, you walk in the same tunnel where the clubhouses are. So you are literally, right next to the Mariners clubhouse, and they come out. You can, there's a barricades. You can't touch them, but you're right there, and they get autographs. Fans are just right there, and I'm walking by them to go to the field, and a guy stops and says, "Hey, I love listening to the Puck podcast. You and the Puck podcast." And I was like, "Okay, I will let him know that."
We have reached the Bay Area.
Well, now, to be fair, I think he was a Mariner fan from Seattle, but he might have been listening in the Bay Area at 1 week or so. But
it's
just
fantastic. Promoted that he's a Giants fan, and this is spreading across the world.
And
John Howie, this is the power you have, John. He's
going to start opening restaurants in San Francisco.
I would. Why would you not open a John Howie steak and a whiskey by John Howie right down in the heart of San Francisco?
And you and I go down for like the 6-month period where it takes them to kind of open it, and we kind of
we'll be in charge.
Schmoozers.
Yeah.
We're greeters. We're eating with the people. We're hanging out.
I'll be in charge of the soft opening.
Soft opening for like 6 months.
A 6-month soft opening. Did you go to Tadich's? Did you able to get away?
I did not. I apologize. We went out with Daniel Kramer and Jude, the writers. Daniel's wife was from there or lived there, and so she took us to some places, and it was not Tadich. I tell you what, I bet Tadich would have been a lot better.
Ooh,
no offense, but
we went to some rough spots, huh?
It was okay. Yeah, I'm like, yeah. So I should have. I would have liked to.
That's okay. Hey, next time you go.
Yep.
Yeah, whenever that the next road trip there.
Another
to
2
San
years.
Francisco. Another couple of years.
Because we always get them when we stayed and played Oakland because we stay in San Francisco. But now we'll be staying in beautiful Sacramento.
Yeah, Sacktown. When is that trip coming up? Hold on. You know what? If you don't know, that's
I know
fine.
It's in May.
I will. I'm going to pull it up for you. Because I had a buddy ask me. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go down for that?" I'm like,
"Oh my gosh,
not really." But
have you been watching highlights from that park?
I have.
And the park in Tampa that they're using, where no one can see the ball at night. The lights are terrible. It's terrible.
They are playing there May 5th through the 7th. So it's coming up.
Than I thought. It's coming up quick.
Yeah.
I'll be able to do reports from the camera well there in Sacramento.
Can you do one from the makeshift Home Depot, whatever thing that they built for their interview rooms? The shack.
Oh,
have you seen that thing?
I haven't seen those. No.
Oh my
really?
God! It's just awful. Awful.
The whole thing's awful. 3 years there.
Terrible.
Awful.
Just terrible. The fact they have to walk through the field, out the gate, in center field to go to the clubhouse.
Oh, because that's where the major leagues ones are outside.
Yeah. They're not even connected. It's not
like
even connected to the dugout. I don't believe.
It's spring training. It's just, and a park plays really small. You know, you see all the scores and the home runs. It's like,
hey, maybe it'd be a good thing for them. Go there and get right.
Get right. Yeah, a lot of teams have. Yankees go there, I think, in May, and people are really excited about that series. You know,
I love
wait till it gets warm too. Wait till it gets 110. See how the ball flies. Oh,
my favorite part is your phone ringing in the background. Is that you still have a home phone?
Correct.
Very old.
With an answering machine that I can update the messages.
Just beautiful. God, that's great. Good.
But the funny thing is, nobody ever uses it, but spam. So it's like, do we really need it? I don't know. Yeah, sometimes.
Probably not. But I enjoy the fact that you still have one. All right, this week we were witness to an improbable win on Wednesday, which gives them their first series win. I was there watching that game. I mean,
you never say hi. You're there and you never say hi.
I know. I'm sorry. Not my fault. That is my fault. And but not Diamond Club this time. We're sitting with the peasants along the third base line. Not the same. I think my wife turned to me. She's like, I don't know. Not for me.
Not feeling this one, Jace.
Not feeling this one. I mean, can we go back to the Diamond Club? But you're sitting there and you're like, God, this game is just a snoozer.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually that you stayed because bottom of 8, you're down 5-0.
We were getting close to leaving.
Yeah,
I think we were out. Had they not scored there, we're out. I'm just because I was looking at if they don't score here, look who's coming up in the bottom of the ninth. Like that's nothing to write home about. Those guys coming up are
right.
You know,
and they all came through.
They all came through, even when they got to within one run, and then promptly give that another run back up in the ninth. But even looking at the bottom of the ninth, I'm like, all right, this was fun. It was awesome to see Arozarena hit that, but there is no way with the combo of Donovan Solano and Mastrobone and JP that they're gonna do anything. There's just no way.
Agree.
But they did, and it was one of the most insanely stupid, but at the same time fun baseball games. And with everything that's going on with the team, at least I allowed myself the 25 minutes of just pure joy of watching something that I just thought. Going into the 8th inning, a buddy turned to me and goes, well, what do you think the odds are? What's the percentage that they come back and win? He said, I think it's 0. I said, -15. There's no chance. And then they did it.
They did. And I agree. It was more than improbable. Just from the guys that did it. And you had Casey Lawrence, who, hadn't pitched for the Mariners since 2018, a game that Felix started, goes 3 innings to get the win.
Yeah.
It's like, why is he pitching the 9th? It's a 5-4 game, right? It's like, why are you pitching Lawrence and he gives up the run? You're thinking 6-4. That's a nice cushion for the Astros.
Yeah.
Abreu is their second best reliever. Hader unavailable, which was great, so no closer. Mm-hmm. Then he, single walk. And then Julio, really good at bat. Hopefully that's something for him to kind of get going, and remind him of what he needs to do in those situations.
Well, and a perfect hit to right field.
Try to homer. Exactly.
Well, and
stay
that's
up the middle.
That's where you want to hit the ball with a situation like that, where the runners were at. Perfect.
And he needs to. I certainly understand that, but execute that and do that going forward, especially because I'm guessing he's got to be the leadoff guy. He's got to be, and he's doing a better job of seeing pitches and taking his walks. He's doing a better job of that. The hits haven't come yet, but if he's going to be a leadoff guy, he needs to have at bats like that.
But I think he needs to get on. I think he's actually hit the ball well. I think he has been. We get to this some hard luck, but I think he's hit the ball hard. It's just sometimes hit it right at guys. I think he's off to a better start to me, and I'm not saying it's a great start. I think so too. It's a great start. I'm just saying I think he's off to a better start than he normally gets off to, and I'm not so caught up in his average right now. I mean, his strikeouts are still too much, but
I agree with you because the home runs, 3, and he didn't have 3 till May of last year. And he's getting on base, like I said. He's got some stolen bases. He's still hitting it hard. I agree that the start seems better and average. I mean, if you look at the average, nobody's hitting on the Mariners. I mean, you look at Houston. And nobody's hitting their offense. They've scored fewer runs than the Mariners.
Yeah, I mean,
and look at the guys that they have. I mean, they're terrible.
That's why you had to win. You had to win that series because
they're 5-0 in the 8th. That's a terrible game for the Astros.
Yeah, and you think about just the division itself. It's just there's no one. I mean,
No.
the Mariners we'll get a firsthand look at the Rangers, and they're coming to town on Friday. But I mean,
Yeah,
the only thing that worries me here about the Rangers is that they're off to this start. What are they, 9-4 on the season? I think something like that.
9-4, 9-5. I think the Angels still in first place, which we know that's not going to last.
But the thing with the Rangers, they're there,
Yeah.
and they've done nothing from their offense.
Right. Young hurt again. Now Wyatt Langford hurt, which helps the Mariners a lot. But you're right. Seager hasn't done much. Simeon hasn't done much. Yeah, it's been pretty quiet. They pitch well, which I don't think they will the entire season.
No, they've had some injuries there, but they've been able to withstand that. And then the Mariners, they're going to face two of their better starters. The starters are going to see DeGrom and Eovaldi in this series, and then who's the other one? Kumar Rocker.
Yeah,
he's been rough in the first couple of games.
Yeah.
But they needed it. It was a good win. The underrated at bat. It's probably not underrated, but was Solano's at bat, because I thought the second he got down 0-2, I'm like, well, that's over. And then the very next pitch, he knocks it into right field. It's a great. I
believe that was his second hit, I think.
Okay.
And then you get Mastroboni getting on a couple of knocks for him, and it looks like he's going to be playing a lot of second. They
got to now.
It's
right?
just, it's. We always talked about being healthy in the starters, which is still huge, obviously. But to lose a couple position players when you really don't have position players to on the roster that can replace them on an everyday basis, or ready in the minors to replace them. I mean, they're so thin right now. You've got bench guys starting, and that's tough.
And this is going to be a rough patch for him. It just really is, because I don't know how for a long period of time how they're going to be able to sustain this, because you've taken now two guys out of your lineup Victor Robles is just exactly what you want in a leadoff guy, just how aggressive he is, and I think the kind of a heartbeat of a team. Is a great defender as well, but he's fast, and even for Bliss, I thought Bliss has been playing well, and when Bliss can get on, he can cause some issues on the base pass, and defensively I think he's been more than adequate, more than fine, and you just can't. It's gonna be hard for these guys to sustain a long period of success with what you just described, because they're just they're not deep.
No, and they're not built for that. And it's going to be at least 3 months, for Robles. They're circling the All-Star break,
like best case scenario.
Best case, no surgery, and that's best case rehab. He's back in 3 months-ish. For Bliss, I think it's going to be longer. I think.
Well, it has to be, right? He tore a bicep.
Not off the bone. I talked to Rick Riz about it yesterday, because years
Riz
ago,
did this playing basketball.
He tore
did he
it
not?
in our infamous basketball game in Minnesota that I try to forget.
How many people got hurt?
He tore his
that
off
day?
the bone. 3.
Did you get hurt?
No, I was okay, because I was not playing hard at all, and then I just shut it down after that. Sims went down first, popped his Achilles.
Riz goes down with a torn bicep, and who was the other one?
Torn off the bone.
Was it Gary Hill?
No, Hill was okay. It was Edgar kind of tweaked his knee, so he stopped playing, and then I was like, we're done. We're cursed. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Hall of Famer comes down.
Yeah.
And that's back when he was, traveling, being with the hitting coach, and he tweaked his knee and had to stop playing. I was like, oh my God.
So what do you think the best case is for Bliss?
Jesus. Best case is he does not. Well, he's going to have surgery. So surgery, and he comes back at some point in the year. I mean, there's a chance, obviously, that he misses the year. It just depends. They had the MRI yesterday.
Yeah.
They're looking at it, and we'll know. They won't tell us anything today because it's an off day. We'll know tomorrow, probably.
It sucks.
And he's going to get a second opinion, I'm sure. So maybe we don't know definitively Friday, but we'll know more.
I feel
Friday.
bad for him, man.
Yeah, I do too. Because like you said, he's
playing well.
Hard. He's making all the plays at second. I mean, how about first at bat, he tears his bicep.
Oh my God, and still plays.
And then he hits a double.
Yeah.
And then remember the play in the 10th when he reaches up?
Yeah.
With a torn bicep. I saw him when he said.
The one that hit off the bag.
Hit off the bag. I said, how in the world did you play? And he said he didn't realize, the extent of it because it was cold. And he said it just kind of numbed up. And he was wearing long sleeves, so he didn't see it. So he was like, and he tested it, and everything seemed to be kind of okay. And afterwards, when he took his shirt off, the bicep was just like all swollen, nasty. He's like, oh, something is wrong. He just didn't know, the adrenaline and cold. And
here's the problem, too, is there's no internal options.
Right. And no one coming yet. That's the thing.
No.
Cole Young's not. They're not going to call up somebody, and people say, "Hey, let's go make some trades and get people." It's like, man, if people really aren't going to trade 12 games into the season, it's not like you look at your team, you're like, "Well, we're done. Let's trade this guy."
This was what leads to the frustration for many of. I know it's a reoccurring theme of the offseason, but it's planning. You have to plan for this stuff. When stuff like this is going to happen. I mean, it can happen. No one gets through a full season healthy.
Right.
No one does.
Right.
And so, this is when you don't make many moves, and the moves are very limited. When you sustain any type of injuries, and then now all of a sudden you're in the situation they are now. I mean, they're going to need now their star players to just play out of their shoes. I mean, they have to. Like Julio's got to pick it up,
right,
and it's got right away. Cal's got to pick it up right away. Randy Arozarena, and maybe that's a good sign for Arozarena because he's got that. He's got that type of personality that is infectious, and they're going to need that because Robles was that.
Right.
And so Arozarena
energy,
can provide
that spark,
yeah,
he can do that. But you're right; they're going to have to get contributions from guys they weren't really expecting. Guys that are now playing a lot more than they expected.
But so I think if the stars though can carry them for a while, if those three guys can up their game,
true,
I think it can raise everybody
they can survive.
else because they can feed off the other players. Can feed off those three, but those three have got to get it going all together all at once. And then I would throw in JP in there as well. I mean, JP's got to. I mean,
yeah, really big too, right? Hitting ninth, he needs to get on like he did last night. He got on 3 times because Julio batting leadoff. You'd like to have people on when Julio's up. Yeah, obviously, so you drive him in. You don't want Julio coming up bases empty every situation. And so the 8-9 guys got to get on.
And he's fortunate they won the game on Wednesday. JP.
Who's that?
JP Crawford.
Yeah,
because the real conversation would have been. Well, that was not good. He was not good in the field.
But again, what options do they have?
Well, none. I'm not saying they don't have any options to replace him.
But I know what you mean. What do you do? Yeah, and
he's just you
hope he hits a little, and he needs to make those plays. Right? He always makes those plays.
But he
got a couple of really good plays.
Yeah, but there was some just routine stuff, dropping the ball. Going to second base there on the pickoff. Throwing balls away. It's not clean. And that's the thing. They can't because they don't have any talent. They have, Divish and I talked about it this week. It was a great talent versus execution. When you don't have talent, you better execute. You
Big
better
time.
not make any mistakes. And they can't afford mistakes like that he made on Wednesday.
Yeah. How's Divish, by the way? Doing okay?
He's doing great. He's in.
They started playing yet?
No tryouts for the Havre North Stars were this week, and
I bet he would love cutting people, just telling him he didn't make the team.
I think he enjoys it. I
think
he
would enjoy
puts
that,
in a big
right?
shoe, looks at 13-year-old Billy and says,
"Yeah, come here, son.
Maybe if your parents weren't unathletic, you'd make the team, Billy. Hey, Billy, you should go work at McDonald's. Baseball's not in your future."
Not your future, buddy.
No, he's doing well, but I mean they can't make mistakes like that. Can't have base running
play
errors.
Clean. Yeah, and it's just going to be more pressure on the pitchers. It's tough. I mean, Gilbert gives up 1 hit, no decision. Luis Castillo, The Rock, 5 scoreless, no decision. It's tough. At least, good news is Kirby is throwing and getting healthier and starting to ramp up and. Hopefully.
What are we thinking? When are we into this month?
He doesn't need a full spring. I'm still optimistic. Maybe end of April. I'm hoping that. And Brash kind of along that same time. Sooner. Brash will be sooner. Hopefully. Knock on wood that he's going to go get some outings there in Tacoma. He faced some batters yesterday. Everything was good.
Yeah.
Now he just needs to see how he can bounce back from an outing and see in Tacoma how that goes. But he should be hopefully. Couple of weeks type of thing, hopefully. So,
I know
which will be good.
I know. Just switching gears over to Houston, just talking about the offseason, and I know that from a hitting standpoint, he hasn't been off to a great start. But would you not have liked to see Christian Walker playing first base for you? How many balls he saved yesterday watching that game? I counted at least 6.
Yeah,
6 balls he dug out.
3-time Gold Glover. I know.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I know. It's like they upgrade, and then Mariners go with Solano and Tellez. And Rowdy's been pretty good at first. That's not a shot at him at all. But you're right. I mean, Christian Walker is a different level.
Man.
And you're right. He'll. I'm sure he'll end up hitting. But yeah,
He'll
he
hit.
hasn't done anything. The whole team hasn't done anything. But
Man, watching him play first base.
he can pick it. And yeah.
It's beautiful.
Well, that's what, $15 million a year looks like, right?
Yeah, that's right.
That's about.
I'd like to earn $15 million. Because it was 3 years. It was 3 years, 60-ish, around in that neighborhood.
Oh man, yeah, maybe.
Wasn't it that? Wasn't it 3 years, 60?
So maybe closer to 20 a year. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would have liked to see that.
Pete Alonso's doing okay in New York.
What do you think the Robles loss means? I mean, obviously, I know what he means on the field, but what about off the field? I mean, you miss that type of personality in your clubhouse.
Yep. Yes. And he's like the true kind of leadoff hitter that they had, a guy who likes to, I don't know, kind of be that kind of annoying type player, a guy who gets on, loves to run, and just kind of the showmanship and just kind of the fun he has. Like we talked about with Randy, the same type of thing. It keeps people loose. He plays with effort. Yeah, they feed off him. Yeah, and he was like one of the few, hitting the ball and getting on and doing things. And the catch he made, I mean, it's just the effort. I mean, just no regard for himself. It was unbelievable play.
Gorgeous.
It was great. And that's hard to replace, a lot of phases, because he kind of does a lot of things well. And it's kind of hard to find a leadoff guy that can, have a little pop, got speed, that can play defense like that, and has that personality. It's hard to find all of that. And he's really flourished here. His career, we talked about it, DFA'd by the Nationals and on his way out of baseball. And now all of a sudden, he gets a 2-year deal and he's doing great. So, you hope, what's probably going to happen is around that All-Star break, they're going to say, hey, we're getting Robles back. We don't need to get maybe a bat because we're getting a bat back.
I knew you were going to say that.
We're getting an all-star right
spit
fielder.
Out my coffee. I know. I know people are disappointed that we did not make any moves at the All-Star break, but we feel we are actually acquiring 2 impactful bats and getting Victor Robles and Ryan Bliss back. We think, these are and we envisioned this, by the way. This is what we thought. We had planned for this. All right, we'd get them back. Yeah. All right. Before I let you go, as we are talking and taping right now, who is your master's pick?
I'm going to go just straight heart. Not even thinking, because I'm not putting any actual money, but let's go with Rory.
Yeah, I did. I did it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did you put money?
Oh yeah, all of it.
Right.
Just all of it. Sorry,
kids. I think he will win.
Hey,
Probably
trade school.
Hey, yeah,
I think is a fine option.
Right.
I can't be an electrician or a plumber.
2 years, right? We
2
need
years.
that.
You're in and out,
People
and you're making
that.
good money, and you're in a union.
Union, yeah,
great.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm all in.
That's my thought. I mean, I hope, but yeah,
he's going to disappoint us, isn't he? I know he's. I know when I made the selection, I knew it in my heart. I know it in my heart.
You didn't do Scheffler, huh? Didn't do Scheffler.
I just know that he's.
But the odds aren't very good, right? I mean, he's one of the huge favorites, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I just put some money on him, but also I put it in all my golf leagues that I'm in. I just bet on him.
Oh yeah. My best Masters moment was winning in the Mariners pool with Justin Smoke. Speaking of gambling,
the Smoke-a-motive.
It was like $50, and I'm like, man, I just had like a kid. I'm like, my wife would kill me. I can't do it. I said, Justin, here we go. $50. You put in the money. You put in 50, and I'll pick the team, and we split it. And he's like, sure. So lo and behold, it's like $1,200, and we win.
Yeah.
We win. I forgot who won that year, and I wasn't, going to push him for my money.
Well,
what do I say? And sure enough, like the next day, he slips me kind of on the down low, an envelope in the clubhouse.
Damn right.
$600.
Yeah, right.
Justin Smoke.
That could have been you getting all $1,200.
$1,200, yeah. If I had 50 the stones, but I know. Well, This worked out too, though.
You and I both going with Rory.
Little
Love
smoker.
it. All right, I love you. John Howie Steak brings
buddy.
you Brad Adam every single week. Of course, from Root Sports, also Whiskey by John Howie features global selections of rare and well-done whiskeys with something for everyone, from the curious to the connoisseur. Whiskey boasts a collection of hundreds of bottles from around the world. Also, again, John Howie Steak, the classic steakhouse, best selection of hand-cut steaks, USDA Prime to Japanese A5 Wagyu. Get your seats today. Come on. Get the tables tied to Caesar.
Yeah. A5 or nothing for me.
A5 or go home.
Yeah, if it's 4, no.
No, I don't do A4. I do A5. All right, Brad. Enjoy your day off. Have fun at the ballpark this weekend, and we'll talk next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, buddy.
Big thanks to, again, Brad Adam joining us as he does every single Thursday. We catch up with him in the morning. Big thanks to John Howie Steak, also Whiskey by John Howie, for presenting and allowing us to have Brad Adam weekly talking Mariners baseball. Again, they're from Root Sports. The day off today, by the way, and then they'll be back at it tomorrow, taking on the Texas Rangers to start a 3-game series. Our first little glimpse at the Rangers. Friday, good little pitching matchup. We'll see if Bryce Miller can get things corrected. He hasn't been all that great here in the first couple of starts. He gets the ball tomorrow against Jacob deGrom. Saturday, it's a Kumar Rocker, which, again, best name ever. And then Brian Wu. And then Sunday is a magnifique. You got the Sunday Masters, and you got a hell of a pitching matchup on Sunday. Logan Gilbert and Nathan Eovaldi. That is going to be fantastic. All right, before we get to Hey, What the Puck, we've got to get ourselves a Masters update. We've got to just give you the very latest. Now, if you're watching this later, like, well, I already know everything. You've not even spoiled it, but now it's all way behind. But again, our Masters coverage, our Puck to Picker Majors pool, and our golf coverage for the entire summer is brought to you by our good friends there at Synthetic Turf Northwest. And again, if you are tired of your backyard being muddy and brown because you can't water it because water is too expensive, allow the folks there at Synthetic Turf Northwest to do a turf installation, custom turf installation. They're replacing your entire lawn with synthetic turf. Also, get that 3-hole putting green like I've got in my backyard, huh? Isn't that thing beautiful? You're damn right it's nice. Best decision we ever made, Synthetic Turf Northwest, syntheticturfnorthwest.com. That is actually my backyard. And I'm not joking when I say it was the best decision that we ever made. The dogs don't track in mud anymore. I don't spend any more money on water, keeping that thing green. Why? Because it's green all year long. And then now I am like, who's the Brad Faxon of putting now in the Ballard neighborhood, because all I do out there is just take my putter and I putt all day long. And it's like just sinking putts left and right. syntheticturfnorthwest.com. You can get a custom turf installation, replace your lawn. It's expensive to keep it green with all the water. And then in addition to that, you can use it all year long. And that's the problem with living in this area. You can't use your backyard all year long. And for you baseball crazed people out there as well, you know what I do? I take out those pins, then I sit back on the patio and I take the little fungo bat, the short little fungo bat. We just hit hot, coming in hot hoppers to the 11-year-old, to the vampire. It's wonderful. That's why that guy's a Gold Glove Little Leaguer. If there was such a thing, which there is not. Synthetic Turf Northwest, syntheticturfnorthwest.com brings you all of our golf coverage throughout the summer, Masters coverage, Majors coverage, again, brought to you by Synthetic Turf Northwest. And, of course, always Puck to Picker Majors Pool. Good luck to everyone that got in to Puck to Picker Majors Pool. First place, again, one-night stay, 2 rounds of golf at Gamble Sands, a foursome at Fairwood Golf and Country Club, a foursome at Mill Creek Country Club for third-place prize, and then fourth place, foursome at one of Troon's Seattle premier golf courses. All right, currently right now, the story, well, there's lots of stories. The Canadian Corey Connors is in the clubhouse, just finished up with a 4-under 68. Two-time winner Scotty Scheffler still on the course. He is 1 shot back. Justin Rose right now is on an absolute heater as we are doing the show. Justin Rose is 4 under, currently through 8 holes. He has birdied 1, 2, and 3 to start his day. He just birdied 8. Justin Rose is on absolute fire right now. Aaron Rai, who has had a hell of a round, 2 under 70. He is, I got to check the stat on that one. Was he the first ever to hit all 14 fairways? He had all 14 fairways today. 3rd player since 2000 to hit every fairway in his first ever Masters round. That is from Justin Ray. Follow Justin on Twitter, Justin Ray Golf. He's fantastic when it comes to stats. Freddie Couples at 65, the proud member of Jefferson Park Golf Course, snuck on there all the time. Seattleite Fred Couples carded a first round 71, 42 years after he did it for the first time, 1983. It's amazing how much Freddie Couples loves playing at Augusta. Other notable names right now, Colin Morikawa got off to kind of not a shaky start. He was just pars everywhere, but he is currently 2 under. My guy that I've put all my money on in the world, Rory McIlroy, as we are doing this right now, is off to a good start. 1 under there through 4 holes. Who is not off to a good start? Well, our guy, Nick Dunlap, opened up today. Nick Dunlap was, he's not done yet. 15 over through 16 holes. So not a good start there for Nick Dunlap. Billy Horschel, who is the star of the TGL, he's 4 over through 16. Joe Highsmith, of course, local product out of Lakewood down there in Tacoma, went to Bellarmine Prep. He finished his day 4 over 76. So everybody have fun watching the first day of the Masters. I know I will. When I sign off here, that's all I'm going to do is go watch a lot of golf. But we got to finish up the show here with Hey What the Puck, which is, again, brought to you by Restoration One in North Seattle. It's a restoration company that lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, and mold damage with their property restoration services. Locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when those damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online, restoration1.com. All right, bear with me. This video is a little long. It's about 2 minutes, but I want to play it. Luka Doncic played in Dallas last night. This is I think one of the coolest videos I've seen in a long time, because this video highlights the connection of a superstar player with a city, with a fan base, and with an organization, with a fan base that got stabbed in the back, because you don't trade generational talent. And he didn't want to go. And the emotion that Luka Doncic showed last night while being introduced as a new member of the Lakers in the starting lineup against his former team, the Dallas Mavericks. You know, people say, well, these athletes don't care anymore. You watch this, and for those listening, you're like, well, we can't. I'm sorry. I'm just going to play it. This is what emotion is all about.
Please turn your attention to the video board for a special tribute video.
With the 5th pick in the 2018 NBA Draft, the Dallas Mavericks select Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and Real Madrid.
Hi, it's Luka Doncic. I'm really excited to be a part of the Dallas Mavericks team, and I hope you will enjoy my games and you will enjoy how I play, and I hope to see you soon.
There in the corner, Luka! Goes in!
And 2019 Rookie of the Year is
Luka Doncic.
2 seconds. Doncic for the win. Oh no! Luka Doncic! Harder. Luka Doncic with a little spice. How did he get that through all those defenders and hands and arms? Trying to win it back. Win is a win.
Hey, my baby.
How do you like your coffee? With a little Kareem. Doncic pulls up, 3-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good!
How are you feeling, Luka?
Amazing.
Leading the bright palm, nipping at his heels. Outside. What a pass! Washington! Oh!
What you got to say? You guys are 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
At guard, in his 7th season from Slovenia, number 77, Luka Doncic! Thank you, Luka.
Now, it's hard for those who are listening, live on the Puck Sports mobile app or listening later on our podcast platforms. Like, I just didn't really hear much. I get that. But I wanted to play it just again for the viewers on YouTube. You can go back and watch it later. I just thought it was one of the coolest things about sports, and it just showed you the emotion that Luka and the love that I think Luka Doncic had for that city, and it shows you that, how much he loved the city of Dallas, how much he loved that fan base. He didn't want to leave, and the fans didn't want him to leave. And that's the thing. Whatever happened in the power struggle, whatever they were thinking, that organization, I mean, they will rue the day that they just traded a generational talent. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to take Dallas decades to recover. Decades. Because it's not like they got a player back who's healthy. They didn't. They're fools for what they did on so many levels. And I'm not going to say Luka Doncic is without fault. I think one of the best things actually career-wise that could have happened for Luka is getting traded to the Lakers. Not to play for the Lakers, but to play alongside LeBron James. And people are going to say, oh, no, I hate LeBron James. From a work ethic standpoint, what he's done with his body, how he's been able to stay healthy, the time and energy that he puts in, that what was lacking from Luka Doncic. He needed that wake-up call, and I think he's going to get that wake-up call from LeBron, has gotten that wake-up call from LeBron. And you're going to see a guy who is just going to be even better, bigger, faster, stronger than he's ever been before. And you saw it last night. He dropped 45 points. He was unbelievable. And for that fan, and I feel bad for that Mavericks fan base. They're not the ones who wanted to trade him. Some egomaniac GM wanted to. And an ownership group signed off on it. I mean, how fucking stupid do you have to be as an ownership group to sign off on something like that? Trade a guy who might go down as one of the greatest players to ever put on an NBA uniform. Unbelievably stupid. You don't trade away generational mega superstars. You don't do it. You never get rid of that. But the emotion, if again you just listened to it, didn't watch it, just watch the emotion on his face, the tears streaming down his cheeks, just told you just how much pride and how much love he had for that fan base. So good there on Luka Doncic for just kind of being vulnerable, being honest there, showing his true emotions there. That's Hey What the Puck, brought to you by Restoration One of North Seattle. But it's also the connection, that's why we love sports. We do. It's the connection we as fans have with the athletes and that the athletes have with the fans. All right, it's your restoration company lets you avoid the stress of water, fire, mold damage. Their property restoration services. They are locally owned and operated. Make them your first call when these damages affect your residential or commercial property. 206-817-8917. Visit them online at restoration1.com. North Seattle franchise. All right, that's it for us today. Thank you for watching and listening. Thank you to all of our sponsors, Limbeck Lumber, John Howie Steak, Zogs on Fox Island, Hartley and Hartley Insurance, Synthetic Turf Northwest, Georgetown Brewery. Go check out their new tavern beer at your local bar, georgetownbeer.com. And, of course, as always, Restoration One. Today's Daily Puck Drop you can find up on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel when you're there. Also find the Daily Puck Drop on your favorite podcast platforms and, of course, at pucksports.com. When you're at pucksports.com, please sign up to be a member of the Pucks Posse. $5 a month. You support all the free content, VIP and exclusive content we do there as well. Our baseball coverage with our MLB insider, Ryan Divish. NFL draft coverage with Dane Brugler of The Athletic. By the way, his beast that he puts out on The Athletic is out. Go read it today. Also, The Sports Pit with Steve Sandmeyer, Matt Stretch Johnson. And be sure to check out also Graz with Gas Take 5 podcast, which is produced by Puck Sports. New episodes drop every Monday on YouTube. and all podcast platforms. Just search Graz with Gas, Take 5. And, of course, you can find their content in all of the shows we do up at pucksports.com. All right, that's it for us today. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy the Masters first round. We'll talk to you tomorrow on a Friday edition of the Daily Puck Drop. Until then, as always, promise to be better.
No shoes, no dice.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!